Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I am an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. At Forrester Creations, chaos begins to erupt in a way no one saw coming, as Melissa Dillon's voice cuts through the air in sharp, panicked screams. Something, or someone, has appeared out of nowhere, sending shockwaves through the sleek fashion house. Behind a rack of elegant dresses, a mysterious figure with long hair suddenly emerges, and in that split second, Dillon freezes as recognition seems to strike her like a bolt of lightning. She stares wide-eyed, shaking, and blurts out a stunned realization of, "It's you!" as fear and disbelief collide in her expression. The tension in the room tightens instantly as the show carefully withholds the identity of the intruder, leaving everything hanging in a suspenseful cliffhanger. Viewers are deliberately led down a misleading path, with all signs teasing the possibility that Luna Nozawa has somehow returned to stir up chaos once again. But beneath the surface of that assumption, nothing truly confirms Luna's presence, keeping the mystery even more unsettling and unpredictable. As the moment continues to unravel, the story leans toward a far more personal and complicated twist than anyone initially expects. Instead of Luna, all clues begin pointing toward Remy Price, who appears to be deliberately toying with Dillon by disguising himself, complete with a wig that explains the long-haired illusion. The shocking reveal shifts the emotional tone completely, as Dillon's reaction makes it clear that this is not just a random encounter, but something rooted in unresolved history. Her discomfort grows heavier as it becomes obvious that she and Remy share unfinished business that is far from settled. Whatever their past may hold, it is clear that their connection is anything but peaceful, and his sudden reappearance threatens to drag Dillon straight back into trouble she has been trying to escape. The situation becomes even more dangerous when it is implied that Remy's involvement could jeopardize Dillon's fragile friendship with Electra Forrester if their hidden connection ever comes to light. With tensions rising, Dillon finds herself cornered emotionally and socially, forced to confront a past that refuses to stay buried. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the unfolding drama, Liam Spencer begins shaping yet another influential idea that could shift Hope Logan Spencer's entire professional path. As Hope stands at a crossroads regarding her future at Forrester Creations, Liam sees an opening that could change everything for her. If she truly decides to step away from Forrester and transition toward the Logan fashion world, she would need the right designer to support that bold move. With that in mind, Liam presents a tempting suggestion that could reshape her next chapter entirely, gently steering her toward considering Deke Sharp as a key creative partner. He tries to paint a compelling vision of what it would look like for Hope to build something new at the Logan Fashion House under Katie Logan Spencer's direction, where her own identity could flourish in a different way. In Liam's mind, this isn't just a career suggestion, it's a hopeful push toward a fresh start that keeps Hope close to family and opportunity. As he holds on to optimism that she will embrace his idea, the stage is quietly set for another major decision in Hope's life, leaving everything hanging in anticipation of what she will choose next. Back at Forrester Creations, the tension surrounding Dillon and the mysterious intruder doesn't fade. It intensifies as the moment finally tips from confusion into confrontation. The disguise begins to lose its power as the truth pushes forward, and the carefully crafted illusion of the long-haired figure unravels, revealing Remy Price beneath it all. What once felt like a supernatural-like shock in the fashion studio quickly turns into something far more personal and unsettling, as Dillon's panic shifts into a mix of anger, disbelief, and emotional exhaustion. The air feels heavier now, not because of mystery, but because of history, something unresolved that refuses to stay in the past. Remy's presence is not accidental, and the way he carries himself suggests he intended this reaction, as if he wanted to force Dillon into a moment she could no longer avoid. Her voice shakes as she struggles to regain control, but it's clear that whatever bond or conflict once existed between them has never truly healed. Instead, it has only been waiting beneath the surface, ready to resurface at the worst possible moment. And now it threatens to spill into every corner of her present life. As their confrontation deepens, the emotional weight of their shared past begins to press down harder on Dylan, making it clear that Remy isn't just a fleeting disturbance. He is a disruption that could reshape everything around her. The mention of unfinished business lingers like a warning, suggesting there are truths and connections that have never been fully addressed and possibly never forgiven. Dylan finds herself trapped between fear and frustration, especially as the implication grows stronger that Remy's return could jeopardize her growing bond with Electra Forrester. The idea that their hidden history might be exposed adds another layer of pressure, as Dylan realizes she is not only fighting for her own stability, but also for relationships she has carefully tried to protect. Remy, meanwhile, seems unwilling to let her distance herself so easily, as if dragging her back into chaos is part of a larger plan that she never agreed to. Every word exchanged feels like a tightening knot, pulling her further into a situation she cannot easily walk away from, and the fashion house around them suddenly feels less like a workplace and more like a stage for unresolved conflict to explode at any moment. Across town, the emotional rhythm shifts but does not settle, as Liam Spencer continues to shape Hope Logan Spencer's future with quiet determination. His suggestion about Deke Sharp lingers in the air between them, not as a casual idea, but as a carefully planted vision of possibility. Liam sees Hope standing at the edge of a major decision, one that could separate her from Forrester Creations and redefine her identity within the Logan fashion world under Katie Logan Spencer's guidance. He speaks with a steady confidence, painting a future where collaboration, family ties, and creative freedom align in a way that feels almost inevitable if she chooses to step forward. Hope, however, is left in a space of reflection, torn between familiarity and opportunity, between the world she has built and the one being offered to her. The idea of working with Deke Sharp introduces both excitement and uncertainty, opening doors she hasn't fully committed to walking through yet. As Liam watches her closely, holding on to the hope that she will embrace his vision, the moment settles into a quiet but powerful suspense. Because just like Dylan's crisis at Forrester, Hope's future is also hanging on the edge of a decision that could change everything. The pressure surrounding Dylan and Remy at Forrester Creations refuses to settle, as the confrontation evolves from shock into something far more emotionally charged and dangerous. The revelation of Remy's disguise has already shattered the illusion of coincidence, and now every word between them feels loaded with history neither of them can fully escape. Dylan's composure continues to crack under the weight of old wounds resurfacing at the worst possible time, especially with the possibility that Electra Forrester could soon be pulled into a situation she knows nothing about. Remy, however, seems almost calculated in his approach, as if he has returned not just to be seen, but to force consequences that have been waiting far too long to arrive. The fashion studio, usually a place of creativity and elegance, now feels like a pressure chamber where every breath carries the risk of exposing something far bigger than either of them wants to admit. Dylan struggles to steady herself, but the emotional undercurrent between them makes it clear that this is not just a chance encounter. It is the reopening of a chapter she thought was closed forever. And as the tension stretches tighter, it becomes increasingly obvious that whatever Remy is holding over her, or whatever truth they share, has the potential to unravel more than just her reputation. It could destabilize her entire place within the world she is trying to build. At the same time, the ripple effects of Liam Spencer's influence over Hope Logan Spencer begin to grow more defined, as her internal conflict deepens under the weight of possibility and pressure. The idea of leaving Forrester Creations no longer feels abstract. It is becoming a real fork in the road, one that could permanently redirect her professional and personal identity. Liam's suggestion about Deke Sharp continues to echo in her mind, not as a simple recommendation, but as a symbol of a new creative direction tied closely to family, trust, and reinvention. The vision he presents is persuasive, a future where Hope is not just working under a legacy, but actively shaping one alongside people who understand her history and ambitions. Yet that vision also comes with uncertainty, because stepping away from Forrester means breaking from a world that has defined so much of her life and her struggles. As she weighs the possibilities, the emotional stakes quietly rise, making even the smallest decision feel like it carries lasting consequences. Liam, still holding on to quiet optimism, watches for any sign that she might lean toward his idea, believing that this could be the moment everything shifts in the direction he hopes for. And just like the turmoil unfolding at Forrester Creations, Hope's journey is now suspended in a fragile balance, where one choice could reshape not just her career, but the entire emotional landscape surrounding her life. The tension at Forrester Creations reaches a point where silence itself feels dangerous, as Dylan is forced to confront the reality that Remy's return is not just emotional, it is strategic. The space between them becomes charged with everything unspoken, every past mistake and unresolved conflict pressing forward at once. Dylan realizes that avoiding him is no longer possible, especially as his presence threatens to expose layers of her life she has carefully kept hidden from Electra Forrester and everyone else around her. Remy, standing firmly in the aftermath of his reveal, no longer hides behind disguise or ambiguity, and that shift makes the situation feel even more unstable. It becomes clear that whatever brought him back was not accidental, and his timing suggests he knows exactly how much disruption he is causing. Dylan is left emotionally cornered, trying to protect both her present and her past, while the weight of uncertainty grows heavier with every passing second. The atmosphere around them settles into an uneasy stillness, as if the entire fashion house is holding its breath, waiting for the next move that could either break everything open or push it beyond repair. Meanwhile, Hope Logan Spencer's internal struggle quietly intensifies as Liam Spencer continues to believe he is guiding her toward a future that could redefine her life. His confidence in the idea of her joining forces with the Logan fashion world, possibly alongside Deke Sharp, remains steady, almost unwavering, as he tries to frame it as a natural evolution rather than a risky departure. But for Hope, the decision feels less like a simple career shift and more like stepping into unknown emotional territory, where every choice carries weight beyond business. The pull between Forrester Creations and the possibility of building something new under Katie Logan Spencer's direction becomes harder to ignore, especially as Liam's vision keeps painting a future filled with opportunity and reinvention. Yet beneath that possibility lies uncertainty, because leaving behind what she knows also means confronting change she cannot fully control. As Liam holds on to hope that she will accept his suggestion, the moment closes on a quiet but powerful tension. Two parallel stories unfolding in different places, both standing at the edge of decisions that could reshape everything that comes next. At Forrester Creations, the confrontation between Dylan and Remy reaches a deeper emotional breaking point as the reality of their shared past begins to weigh more heavily than the present chaos around them. The initial shock of his disguised entrance has fully dissolved, leaving behind something far more complicated, raw history resurfacing in a place that was never meant for it. Dylan struggles to maintain control of her emotions, but every attempt to steady herself feels challenged by Remy's persistent presence and the implication that he has not returned by accident. There is an unspoken understanding forming between them, one built on tension, unresolved conflict, and a history that refuses to stay buried no matter how much she wishes it would. The possibility that Electra Forrester could become collateral damage in this unfolding situation adds another layer of pressure, making Dylan's fear less about herself and more about what could be exposed if the truth begins to spill out. Remy, meanwhile, appears fully aware of the disruption he is causing, as if that disruption is part of his purpose, not an unintended consequence. Every second that passes tightens the emotional grip between them, turning the sleek, polished world of Forrester Creations into a fragile stage where something long dormant is finally beginning to surface. The situation grows even more unsettling as Dylan realizes she may no longer have the luxury of separation from Remy's influence. His return forces her to confront not only memories she has tried to suppress, but also the fear that those memories could now interfere with her present life in irreversible ways. The unfinished business between them is no longer just a phrase. It feels like a looming reality that could reshape relationships, reputations, and trust in an instant. Dylan's connection to Electra Forrester becomes increasingly fragile under the weight of this secret history, and the possibility of exposure hangs over her like a shadow she cannot outrun. Remy's calm persistence only deepens the discomfort, suggesting that he is not here to leave quietly, but to push the past into the open whether she is ready or not. The tension builds in waves, as if every breath taken in that room carries the potential to ignite something larger than either of them can control. And in the midst of it all, Dylan is left standing at the center of a storm she never saw coming, forced to face the uncomfortable truth that her past has finally caught up to her present. Elsewhere, Liam Spencer's influence over Hope Logan Spencer continues to quietly shape the emotional direction of her life, as his idea about Deke Sharp lingers in her thoughts like an unanswered question. What began as a suggestion now feels like a turning point, something that could either open a new chapter or close an old one forever. Hope finds herself caught between the familiar structure of Forrester Creations and the uncertain but tempting possibility of building something new within the Logan fashion world under Katie Logan Spencer's guidance. Liam's vision remains steady and hopeful, as he imagines her stepping into a future where creativity, independence, and family collaboration align in a way she has not yet fully embraced. But for Hope, the decision is not so simple, because each path carries emotional weight that extends far beyond career choices. The idea of working with Deke Sharp adds another layer of complexity, hinting at change that could redefine her role not just professionally, but personally as well. As Liam watches for her response, holding on to the belief that she will eventually accept the direction he is offering, the moment settles into a quiet suspense. Two lives in two different places, both standing at the edge of change, each waiting for the next choice that will determine what comes next. At Forrester Creations, the emotional pressure surrounding Dylan and Remy finally begins to shift from confrontation into something even more precarious: exposure. The longer they stand in that charged silence, the more it becomes clear that this is no longer just about a resurfaced past, but about what that past is capable of destroying in the present. Dylan's fear sharpens as she realizes Remy's return isn't simply personal. It carries the potential to unravel carefully built relationships, especially her fragile connection with Electra Forrester. Every glance between them feels like a warning that the truth is no longer safely contained, and that one wrong move could send everything spilling into the open. Remy's calm persistence only deepens that unease, as if he is waiting for her to acknowledge something she has spent a long time trying to outrun. The polished world of Forrester Creations around them, its elegance, its order, its beauty, feels increasingly out of place against the emotional chaos building between two people bound by unfinished history. Dylan is left in a position where avoidance is no longer an option, and silence itself begins to feel like a form of surrender. That emotional pressure begins to echo outward, suggesting that Dylan's situation may soon extend beyond a private confrontation and into a wider fallout that could affect multiple lives. The implication of hidden connections, unresolved history, and potential betrayal hangs heavily in the air, making it clear that Remy's presence is not just disruptive, it is catalytic. Dylan struggles with the fear that once certain truths are revealed, there will be no way to control how they reshape the relationships she is trying to protect. The tension between them becomes less about what is said and more about what is inevitably going to be exposed, as though the past is slowly forcing its way into the present, whether she is ready or not. Remy's return now feels like a turning point rather than a moment, a shift that could permanently alter how Dylan is seen within her world. And as the weight of that realization settles in, the atmosphere grows heavier still, as if the entire situation is quietly building toward an unavoidable reckoning. Meanwhile, Hope Logan Spencer finds herself standing closer to a decision than ever before, as Liam Spencer's vision continues to linger in her thoughts with increasing clarity. The idea of stepping away from Forrester Creations and embracing a new future tied to the Logan fashion house under Katie Logan Spencer no longer feels like a distant possibility. It feels immediate, almost pressing. Liam's suggestion about Deke Sharp continues to shape that possibility, offering a sense of creative renewal that contrasts sharply with the emotional complexity she has been navigating at Forrester. Yet even as the opportunity begins to take shape, Hope remains caught in a deeply personal crossroads, where change promises both freedom and uncertainty in equal measure. The life she knows and the life being offered to her are no longer just professional paths, they are emotional directions that could redefine her identity moving forward. Liam holds on to hope that she will embrace his perspective, quietly convinced that this is the moment she chooses a new beginning. And as both storylines continue to unfold in parallel, one rooted in confrontation and the other in possibility, everything now hangs in delicate suspense, waiting for the decisions that will determine what breaks, what changes, and what ultimately begins.